Hello, my name is Geogen, and welcome back to Armored Warfare. So today, an iconic tank of the modern era, the M1 Abrams. Just a stock model, not the M1A1 or A2, so we only have a 105mm gun. However, this MBT, unlike others at the same tier and other tiers as well, is very fast. 72 miles an hour, 72 kilometers an hour top speed in game. And you can accelerate to that top speed very quickly indeed. The gun is quite quick to aim, 1.6 seconds, and has an okay accuracy rating of 0.12 deviation. Like many tanks of the tier, its penetration doesn't, leave anything to be desired or anything to write home about. At 440, it's a little less than the Soviets and the British tank, the Chieftain 900 at this tier, but this tank has profited from being put a tier lower, I think. It didn't used to stack up very well against the Challenger 1 at tier 7. That was my favourite tank in pre-019 gameplay, but now I prefer this tank much more to that of the Chieftain 900 purely because of the mobility of the tracks and just top speed and everything. The turret traverse, the track traverse, everything is much faster than the British tank. And you could probably do something similar in a T80, but this tank has very strong armor if you angle it correctly. Basically, in pre-balance 2, I hate that term, I'm just going to call it in 018 gameplay, this tank and the ones above it in the same tree, aka the Abrams tree, had very good frontal armor. It couldn't be penetrated from most targets, or most tanks can penetrate you in terms of your front plate. I wouldn't call it lower plate because it's practically all of the front is the plate, and the only weakness was the driver's port. That port isn't as bad now, I don't think. It still can be penetrated, but now the front plate can be penetrated unless you're angling it at about 45 odd degrees. The side armor also can be penetrated, and I believe that they said the M1A1 had overperforming side armor. I'm not sure about this one at tier 6. However, as you can see, that MBT-70, another tier 6 American, well, premium tank, MBT, has a very poor lower plate. And, surprisingly for me, that Chieftain 900 has quite a good lower plate. I thought it would be quite bad, but as soon as he exposes his track, we can penetrate him. We saw the arrow go green there on, like, the beak armor, but I think it's kind of pointless aiming for that, and it's better just to track the target and possibly hit the driver's port on the Chieftain 900. And additionally, the side armor, because of its poor mobility, can be exploited. Now, for some reason that guy forgot I was here. I know I was unspotted, but bit of a strange play. Then again, he is surrounded by me and my allies in front. So the gun has a decent rate of fire. I don't know its DPM values, but it doesn't really matter. There you can see the poor side armor, but then again that was roughly a 90-degree angle that experimental tank hit us. Experimental tank, or is it expeditionary tank? Expeditionary tank, I think. Whatever. That TD, I think it is, maybe a light tank, damages us for a bit, but we're still on 2,300 odd health. And this mobility is just something which is really nice to play with at this tier. You basically have, well, not light tank mobility, because light tanks will be able to circle you, but not as easily as other MBTs like the Chieftain 900. And I might have just got lucky in this game, where I didn't get flanked and hit in the sides. I mean, as soon as your side armor is exposed, you're pretty much a sitting duck. But then again, that's the same with a lot of targets, especially those Soviet T-series tanks, the T-72, T-80, etc. But in my experience so far, this tank is pretty decent. And the M1A1, although supposedly he's going to get a nerf to its side armor, is also quite good. I haven't really played the M1A2. I don't really like super high tier gameplay, if I'm honest. I just don't gel with it. I maybe just prefer vehicles of an earlier time, aka 1950s through 1990s, but high tier gameplay is okay. I'll have to give it some more time when I have the time, and if I want to, that is. But back with the M1 here, we've done a lot of damage this game. We've bounced a lot of shots, but the armor isn't infallible. As I said, side armor, and we also got penetrated from the front. I've no idea about turret weaknesses on this. Maybe the turret ring, maybe the commander's cupola. They have changed the cupola mechanics to somewhat of a worse system, in my opinion. Cupolas with manned crew in the turret, that is, so not T-14 turrets, for instance, but crew members in the turret, when they have their cupolas damaged, take full damage now, whereas they didn't before, which, at least I think that's the case. But anyway, that's GG, and we'll have a look at the post-game stats. Definitely a better tank now at tier 6, I think the M1 is, compared to before. And there we go, over 6,800 damage, I think that says. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, it is in the preview window. But we came top on damage, and we, not sure about kills, but we got a couple, I think. Maybe not, actually. But yeah, this tank's good. I think, as I've said a couple of times now, much better now than it was before in 018. So, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and as always, I've been Geogen, and I'll see you chaps and chapettes in the next one.